together. These secret societies played a big role. And when we look at these technologies that were there,
it was a tower, a much smaller scale of the Great Pyramid, which could do the similar function, that could start to broadcast mass amounts of electricity.
Getting back to World War II,
leaders of the Allies during World War II, people like Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and others, MacArthur, General MacArthur, they were all Freemasons.
Well said. And when we look at how our scientists have been inspired by the ancient world, whether we look at Niels Bohr, Erwin Schrödinger, we look at Einstein, a lot of them were inspired by the Vedas, but we also know that although we've had all these incredible scientific breakthroughs, if we go back into the likes of Oppenheimer, we see, okay, these guys were looking at how to make an atomic bomb.
Yeah.
And it's clear that there are some secrets that if we unravel them, they could be used for either good or bad. You cover this on the series when we start to look at world wars and the effects that the Templars had on that. Okay, let's watch a clip and see what that's all about.
There were other dark forces that started looking into these same ideas and started developing new horrible weapons associated with them. It should be no surprise that as the Nazis came to power within Germany, they too belonged to secret societies that were looking into ancient texts. In particular, the group was the Thule Society, and the Ahnenerbe of Germany began looking into ancient civilizations to develop their own technologies associated with this. Part of this developed their V2 rocket program, which led to much destruction and world wars. And there began to be a orchestrated effort by the Nazis to suppress any organization that had any Templar roots, so that they could take over the technologies and the knowledge to build themselves up as a power and suppress everyone else. As a result of this, both in Great Britain and in the United States of America, the Masonic fraternities, the Templar fraternities that were working underground, started to organize to try to stop the Nazis.
Okay, so if I understand correctly from the clip that we just watched, we were looking at the Nazis that were making certain discoveries, and we are involving the Allies, and the Templars intervened.
Yeah, Hitler had Ludendorff create a whole series of propaganda specifically against Freemasons, trying to suppress them, because he knew these were the only groups that A, understood what he was trying to do, and B, were organized enough underground to stop him. And in fact, many of the leaders of the Allies during World War II, people like Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and others, MacArthur, General MacArthur, they were all Freemasons. And they understood what was going on here and were doing everything they could to stop them. In fact, even Harry Truman, President Harry Truman, said during the news releases that were put out at the movie theaters at the time, he said, I think, I'm going to try to quote him but from memory here, but he said on these news releases, right now in Europe, as the war rages on, there are countless hands being grasped in darkness as well as in light. And there are fathers telling their sons, boy, in your hour of need, if you find yourself in trouble, find yourself a Freemason and tell them you're the son of a Freemason and you'll have found a friend. This is what he's literally announcing on the news media, being put out in the theaters. And it's because he knew that these organizations were the best hope of stopping the Nazis that were, trying to expand and abuse this technology.
It is very apparent that at certain times when we've had despots and terrible rulers out there that have overstepped their boundaries, these tyrannical forces, that these groups that came together, especially when we look over at 1776 and the events that came out of that and what brought the delegates together, these secret societies played a big role. And when we look at these technologies that were there, it's no doubt that a lot of them were protected. A lot of them maybe were disseminated and given to people that could be trusted. What are your thoughts on Tesla?
Yeah, Tesla had been initiated as a Templar into these Templar mysteries. In fact, he ardently believed that contained within the Bible, when read correctly, and this is through certain Kabbalistic lenses and alchemical lenses, was allusions to technologies. In particular, the stories of Moses erecting a brazen serpent in the wilderness to take care of snake bites. The word for serpent and the word for copper in Hebrew is the same. They just put a slightly different accent on it. So it's Nahash and Nehesh. And so he reasoned that this allusion to a serpent also had an allusion to copper. And this is where he developed his coil that was used for his Tesla coil. That was, if you put a current through that, through a capacitor like an arc, you could generate this electricity to be broadcast.
Is that like the jet pillar that we see?
Yeah, very similar. Yeah, and he thought and he believed actually his Wardenclyffe tower that he created to broadcast electricity to the planet was based on what he believed was the purpose of the Great Pyramid and the Ark, and that the Ark would be put inside this pyramid in order to broadcast the electricity throughout the region. So,
that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Tim, I know that you covered that on the new show. Let's take a look at a clip now and see what you had to say about it.
Tesla went to work trying to create something that replicated on a smaller scale what he believed that the Great Pyramid was originally designed to do. The belief was that the Atlanteans in antiquity had originally set up this monument, and it was part of a great power system that had spread throughout the entire empire of Atlantis, spread throughout the planet. And that something happened between the cataclysm of Atlantis and then the arcs being removed out of it that shut this power system off. But Tesla believed that he could turn this power system back on. So he went to work designing what was later to become known as the Wardenclyffe Tower, something that was a tower, a much smaller scale of the Great Pyramid, which could do the similar function, that could start to broadcast mass amounts of electricity.
Getting back to World War II, and when we look at the Germans, they no doubt were very smart. Mm-hmm. We know that they had all kinds of knowledge about these Ahnenerbes and Foo Fighters and had figured things out in extraordinary ways. This obviously led to what we call Project Paperclip, where their scientists came over when the Nazis were being all rounded up. They were brought in, and where we saw NASA and all those influences. What role did the Templars play in that?
Well, I mean, there were these Templar esoteric fraternities who were involved in every stage of the NASA program, even the solid rocket propellant that was developed by Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons himself.
JPL, Jet Propulsion
yeah, from the Jet
Laboratories.
Propulsion Labs. Yeah, I mean, Jack Parsons was an initiate. I mean,
No kidding.
he kind of may have gone his own way with certain things, but he certainly the development of that fuel came from an old alchemical recipe, by his own admission. And again, this was something that had been passed down via, the Templars looking into these things in antiquity. So, but ultimately, the rockets and everything else were all part of this push to develop this ancient science that had come from the ancient world, and it was believed ultimately that our destiny is even beyond this world, and that we're meant to traveling in the stars to other planets as well. And the Moon Project was kind of the first leap in doing that. And by the way, many of the astronauts who were involved in both the Gemini program and the Apollo program were all well-known Freemasons.
If you like this video and you want to see more amazing content, go ahead and check out the next video on our channel.